What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here for another X Factor video with my boy Dilly Vanilli, and we are here to discuss the one player or part of a team that we believe is the X Factor for the AFC West. The AFC West is maybe the most competitive AFC division. We just discussed the AFC South in another video, which is another extremely difficult division and intense competitive division. The AFC West is right there in terms of competitiveness, and maybe even more so than the AFC South, it's a little bit more unknown. It has a big unknown quality to it. I feel like every single one of these teams in the AFC West could win the division. They have the chance, they have a chance to do that. So that being said, this one has a wide spectrum of X factors and players that could make a huge difference, and probably at least one on every single team. Dylan, who do you think are the X factors or X factor of the AFC West?
This one was extremely difficult for me personally because, like you said, the unknowingness of this division is very difficult to try to pick exactly which one is going to be the biggest of them all. So I, again, like I did with the last video, the AFC South video, decided to go with two people. For the Broncos, I have Bradley Chubb, and I also have Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs. The reason I went with Bradley Chubb here, he's a top 5 pick. The Broncos last season were not very good, right? They were terrible in many things across the board. But one thing that totally regressed was the defense. We were talking about, obviously, the year before, they had a really solid defense. They won the Super Bowl not that long ago because basically the defense made it work. And now we've got into the situation where we kind of relied on them to be the defense of the past, and they weren't. They just weren't able to accomplish what they wanted to. And I think at the end of the year, they pretty much just gave up and really didn't show any highlights throughout the course of probably the last 5 or 6 weeks. So a guy like Bradley Chubb, he's coming in. He's going to pressure the defensive line, just like Von Miller, right on the other side of the football, on the other side of the line, I should say. And they're going to put a lot of pressure on, especially this division, to get that football out quick. And I think a guy like Bradley Chubb is going to mix really well with it. With the solid defense, they're getting older, so the opportunity to hit hot is getting smaller. But a guy like Bradley Chubb, who is bringing youth to the group and really going to show out, I think is a big X factor for this division. And I'm going with Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs as my other player. The reason I got Patrick Mahomes on this list is because he's taken over a team that made it to the playoffs, had a really good start, 5-0 last season, but this was all due because of Alex Smith. Alex Smith is nowhere near this division now. He's in the NFC, and now he's going to have to take over this team. A lot of people were excited about him. I'm really excited to see what we see out of Patrick Mahomes, but the Chiefs are really uncertain. I think they're the most uncertain team in the entire AFC because I don't know if they're going to produce as well as they did last season. Of course, they're choke artist, but now it's a different squad with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes who might be able to lead this team to success this year, or it might take a year or two. You never know. So I want to see the production out of Patrick Mahomes. Is he going to hit up that new target, Sammy Watkins, really well? Is the coaching staff going to get behind him and say, hey, this is a good opportunity to try to get us in the playoffs, or are we going to try to develop you this year? It all comes down to it because if Patrick Mahomes does well, they could steal this division. And a rookie like that and all the momentum that they're going to give him is really going to it's going to be on his shoulders to try to lead this team to success. And I think he's up for the challenge, but you never know. It's something that could drastically change this division for the next year or two. So for the AFC West, I've got Bradley Chubb and Patrick Mahomes.
Bradley Chubb was an interesting one. He didn't come to my mind when thinking about X factors, but obviously I feel like he's going to be a great player and is going to be a huge difference maker. But when I think of the Broncos, I think of their offense and how it struggled. And their defense has been consistent, and it's been great. And it's been the reason why they won that Super Bowl, even with Peyton Manning in 2015, because they carried a really old and not very good Peyton Manning to the Super Bowl. But now they haven't had a quarterback since Peyton Manning, and they've gone through the whole experiment of Brock Osweiler twice. They've gone through Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian. Now they've brought in a veteran name in Case Keenum. That's my X factor. I have another one that I'll say at the very end, but this is my X factor for the AFC West because I feel like it's a weird division. When we're talking about the LA Chargers being the most certain team in this division, that's a weird thing to say. So that being said, the Broncos, Case Keenum, he's a guy that had an awesome season last year. I think a lot of people forget how great he was last year. He was really, really good. He was like a top 15 quarterback last year throughout the regular season. And if he can bring any sort of semblance, any sort of consistency and stability to this offense, the Broncos could be a good team. Their defense is still good. It's still like last year, I think they were ranked like 3rd in yards or something. Like they were still a good defense. They had some bad games last year, but they're still a good defense. And especially with an offense that could take a little bit of pressure off them, they'll be that much better. And like you said, Bradley Chubb is going to add all that and more to the defense. And Von Miller, we know what he can do. And for my money, still the best defensive player probably in the league, right there with Aaron Donald. So you have that. You have the defense, but you have still offensive playmakers that have kind of just been growing older without the ability to add to their resume as a player. I mean, Emmanuel Sanders is a fantastic receiver. Marius Thomas is a really good receiver. There is a little bit of question mark in regards to their offensive line and running game, but I feel like if Case Keenum can bring, like I said, a little bit of consistency to that quarterback position and a bit better play. We're talking about a team that had probably the worst quarterback play in the NFL, if not the worst, in the bottom 3 for the past couple of years. So if they just get middle tier, this could be a team that could bump that up by like 4 wins just from better quarterback play. It's amazing what just average quarterback play could give to a team. So I think Case Keenum is a huge X factor in that regard for the Broncos because they still have enough talent to be a good team. My other X factor and kind of just throwing it out there is John Gruden, the coach of the Raiders, because I think, people would say Derek Carr, but I still believe in Derek Carr as a very talented quarterback. I think what happened last year was more in regards to it was sort of everything at once. That one season he got hurt, didn't really come in the same player. Their defense was no good. Their offense wasn't the same. But I think John Gruden can ignite this football team, bring a passion back, bring, an offense back. I think they really desperately missed a offensive mind on their team, and that's what John Gruden is known for. And I think he could maybe bring that next level out of Derek Carr in this offense. And I like what they did somewhat in the draft and free agency. So I think that the Raiders could be a sneaky team as well in the AFC if John Gruden really is still a very good coach, because he used to be. It's just a question mark on whether he still has it with him. So I think John Gruden is one that to look out for as an X factor. But mine's Case Keenum, and Dylan has Patrick Mahomes, quarterback of the Chiefs, which I think is a really good one because he's taken over for a playoff team. And if he is really good, like we think, they should be back in the playoffs. But also that's a kid that could take this team in future years to very, very good places, Super Bowls and stuff like that. And then you have your other X factor who was also on Case Keenum's team. So what do you guys think? X factor for the Broncos, X factor for the Raiders, Chiefs. Maybe it's a Chargers player. I don't know. Maybe the Chargers have an X factor. So let us know what you guys think about the AFC. Maybe it's their kicker. I don't know. Good Chargers kicker.
Special teams might have screwed them out of a playoff spot last year. You never know. You never know.
So maybe it's the Chargers kicker. Maybe we're all screwing around here. We didn't pick the right person. But let us know what you guys think about the X factors for each division, and in particular in this video, the AFC West. Chargers, Raiders, Broncos, and Chiefs. All right. If you enjoyed, hit the like button and subscribe for more NFL and X Factor videos. Peace out.
Peace.